Hi, this is Marty from owingsart.com. That's OWINGSART.com. And today I'm going to take a look at these Wolff's carbon pencils made by the Royal Sovereign Company out of Great Britain. However, in doing some research on the company itself, I don't believe that these pencils are actually made in Wales or Great Britain anymore. I believe they're now made in Asia or Malaysia, and only in name only is it the Royal Sovereign Company anymore. So I think there's been a series of purchases and plant closings and whatnot, and throughout all that, I believe that the name was kept or bought out, but the pencils themselves are no longer produced in England. If someone can correct me on that, I'd like to hear it, but at least not from what I could find out. So anyway, the blister pack that these come in, you get a B, a 2B, a 4B, and a 6B. So it goes from hard to soft in the range. And the pencils are kind of, they're this wood colored, so they don't, paint or coat the outside of the pencils. It's just a nice wood feel, and you can tell it's a cedar case on the wood, or on the core itself, on the pencil. And inside the core, and what I'm going to do today is a little portrait sketch, but inside the core is a carbon, which is an awful lot like a charcoal pencil if you've ever used that. The first thing that you're going to notice when you put pencil to paper is that it's a lot more tacky feeling. So it grips the paper a lot more than a normal graphite pencil would, so it sticks. So, and the more toothy your paper is, the more the graphite's sort of going to grip the paper and stick to it. The other thing you're going to notice is that you're not going to get the sort of shine that you would from a graphite. Again, you're going to notice that this is a lot more matte, a matte type finish, so a very flat finish. So that could be a challenge for an artist who's trying to build volume or something and used to graphite pencils, but they work well. And the thing is, with carbon or charcoal pencil, you're going to get a real rich, dark and deep black. So your darks are going to be really, really dark. So that can help if you're interested in building contrast. And before, I know a lot of people have this question: can I mix charcoal or carbon with graphite? And the answer is, of course, sure you can. You can get some pretty neat effects that way as well. So one of the other things you're going to notice, I'm going to switch here to one of the softer pencils, maybe a 4 or 6B for the eyes here. When you're making the mark, and you want to get a real deep black, like I am here with the eyes, just the paper's going to have a little tooth to it. Otherwise, if you're drawing on a Bristol, you might get a slightly different effect. That's what I'm trying to say. So just be conscientious about that, or conscious of it, I guess, and you'll notice the results might vary depending on the toothiness of the paper. But because these carbon pencils really grip, they grip tightly. It's like putting rubber on the road. So you get a nice tight grip on on your marks. So here, the other thing you can do is you can move the color around a little bit, or the material. So you just use your finger and you can smudge it a little bit. One thing to be cautious about in the smudging of carbon or charcoal especially is, if you smudge it in too much, you're not going to be able to go back and erase it very easily, because that charcoal or the carbon will have gotten into the fiber of the paper, and it's going to be real tough to get that out. So it's just something to be aware of as you use it. And you sort of get the hang of it over time. And you can make lots of neat, because there's such a rich darkness and a deep contrast, you can make some pretty neat and lifelike drawings with carbon and charcoal pencils. Couple quick notes, things to remember when using carbon pencil. When you go to sharpen a carbon pencil, you're going to have to go considerably slower and be more careful than you would, say, a graphite, which has got some resiliency to it. Carbon and charcoal pencils tend to break off in little pieces and chunks, so you'll want to turn very slowly in a sharpener, and never ever use an electric sharpener on a carbon or charcoal pencil. The other thing you'll notice about these Wolff's carbon pencils is that the barrel is a lot thinner than you might be used to if you're used to using a Derwent or a larger diameter pencil. But it doesn't take much to get used to them, and they're not much smaller than a standard yellow number 2, so that's good. Overall, I really enjoyed using these Wolff's carbon pencils, and like I said, you get these rich dark blacks in your work, and you can mix these with graphite and other medium. The other thing, one last thing about carbon pencils or charcoal pencils is when you use them, you're almost always going to have to spray your work if you want to preserve it. So using a spray fixative or something like that will help your work, to keep your work from smudging and help preserve it over time. Well, thanks for dropping by today as we took a look at these Wolff's carbon pencils. Appreciate questions, comments, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. All right, that's it for today. So long, everybody.